What's up, Pi? Welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. Last time we went out with Hanako out in the city. And also, I would like to apologize for the last part being so short. I did say I was going to make this part a little longer, the next part, so I'm going to do that. Alright, Whispered Touch. Let us continue on. Following reaching the classroom after the usual walk from the dormitories, I step inside. My eyes immediately turn to the third seat from the left in the back row, Hanako's seat. It's empty, and after glancing around the classroom, it looks like she isn't here yet. The two girls from the newspaper club are here in the two seats to the left of Hanako's, as are Shizune and Misha. But that's about it. We exchange morning greetings before I take my seat. I have to admit that this is a bit of a relief. This gives me at least a few more minutes to think. Not that haven't been doing so previously. Ever since our trip to the town, Hanako's been on my mind. I still don't know what to make of my relationship to Hanako. I like her. I can admit that much to myself. I want to protect and shield her from the pain she feels. I really don't think my feelings are just those of friendship anymore. But that said, I feel like I don't even know her. If I made a move on her, how would she take it? If she's in an emotional state that allows her to make a reasonable decision about a relationship, how would she cope with anything that might happen afterwards? And there's also a possibility that I'm just completely misinterpreting Hanako. Not a difficult thing to do with someone whose social skills seem to be so underdeveloped. The sound of footsteps comes up to the door, making me perk up. Oh, it ends up just being Miki. She barely acknowledges my existence when I accidentally make eye contact with her. I'm about to look away, but another person comes in not long after she takes her seat. Oh, hi. I feel myself freeze as I see Hanako enter. This isn't a rational reaction, but I have no idea how I should act or what should I say to her. For a moment, our eyes meet, and then, just as quickly, she looks away and moves to her seat without saying a single word. As is now usual for the period following classes, my face is buried deep in a book that I find thoroughly uninteresting. Studying is not something that comes naturally to me. I didn't study a lot before coming to Yamaku, and until now I've largely managed to coast through on talent alone. It's frustrating that I can't do that anymore. Judging by the faces of the other few students in the library, I don't think I'm alone in my distaste for this. Misery loves company, I suppose. I decided to spend lunchtime with Hanako. Since we haven't had lunch together for a while now, I may as well have spent the time studying, though. Aside from the pathetically small snippets of small talk, there was barely a word said between us. Why does she keep doing this to me? I just want to protect her and to be there for her, but every time I feel like we're coming closer, we end up farther away. Are you busy? Oh, Hanako? My head whips around in surprise, causing her to retreat in fright. Oh, that was bad timing. If I hadn't been thinking about her at that very moment, I probably wouldn't have been nearly so startled. Sorry, you just startled me. I found myself staring at her longer than I should, so I go back to the text lying on the table in front of me. I feel like I'm just staring at the words rather than actually reading. Hm. I get the feeling Hanako can notice this as well, so I sigh and close the book. Hm. What's up? I was just wondering what you were reading. She looks a little downcast after my reaction to seeing her, giving up on the prospect of getting any more work done. I get up and return the book to its place on the nearby shelf. Just an English textbook. Has it helped? It helped me realize that I don't like English. So yeah. Hanako gives a small giggle. I may muse on the strange state of our friendship, but I do know that it's such a little gestures are things that I wouldn't see were I not at least some distance closer to her than we first met. I look at her for a moment, thinking about what I do and don't know about her. It's a slightly depressing topic. Is something wrong? If I want to know more about her, maybe I should stop being so evasive about it. Talking with Lily isn't equal rather than being constantly in fear of causing her to become upset we're fine. So I should just try a straightforward approach with Hanako as well. Hey Hanako, do you mind if I ask you a question? I don't mind. I want to know what your life was like. Your life before coming to Yamaku. She hesitates. I briefly consider backing off, but she seems to be taking the question quite seriously. I sit and watch her, silently letting her take her time. She's not making eye contact with me, and looks almost as if she is arguing with herself into letting herself open up to me more. Her answer finally comes in a stiff, almost reluctant nod. She looks far more tense than she did ever before I asked. Okay, but in return, you would have to tell me about your life as well. I nod and follow her as she begins to walk out to the library so we can talk. By now, most of the students have already left at the main building, so apart from the few people hovering around the club rooms, the hallways are largely empty. I guess we'll start with coming to Yamaku. Let's see. I was in the hospital when my parents first told me about Yamaku Academy. The doctors told me I shouldn't go to my old school anymore. My parents agreed and persuaded me to apply for Yamaku, even though it would mean living away from them for the first time. It must have been hard for you. Well, yeah, I have to admit that it was. My parents both work long hours and full time, so having to live reasonably and independently wasn't anything new to me. It was the fact that I was going to a school for disabled students that hit hardest, I think. And you? A small group of chatting girls passes us as we near the stairs, with Hanako pressing herself tightly to my side until we reach the ground floor. She doesn't usually come this close while just walking in the school, so I'm left a little put off. The staff at the orphanage offered me some options on what I could do. Middle school hadn't been good, so I thought that Yamaku might be better. It was isolated, and I thought it might be easier to get it by here, with most of the others being disabled. It's pretty ironic that the reasons Hanako looked forward to Yamaku are the exact reasons I hated the idea. To me, it felt like I was being shunted somewhere away from society, and everyone I knew. To Hanako, that was probably an inviting prospect. Hmm. What was life at the orphanage? It was okay. The staff there were nice, and they took care of us. The children there didn't talk to me much, but I didn't really want to talk with them either, so I didn't mind. The orphanage had a little library, so I started to read to pass the time. The staff didn't mind it, because it made me easier to handle than many of the other children. You didn't make any friends there? No, I think my life was on hold during that time. I knew that, but I didn't mind. To think her life was on hold for all that time, though. Depending on when the fire happened, that was a huge chunk of her life. No parents, no friends, apparently no relatives. We walked through the door and into the courtyard. I expect to I expect to need to avert my eyes from the sun, but by now it's well into the sunset. Hanako's eyes keep flicking to me, so I look away from her for a bit. What was it like in the hospital? I quickly clear my thoughts and try to refocus them. I hesitate for a bit, but I know that I have to tell her. We're close enough for her to feel comfortable telling me this, so it's only fair that I could recuperate. Uh, I think that I mispronounced that, but sorry. It was okay at times, but at others, it was pretty bad. At the beginning, everyone sent their sympathies and came to visit often. It was just like breaking in an arm or something. Meeting all my friends was one of the good times. Hanako came in often as well, more often than anyone else. But there were bad times too. When my friends slowly stopped visiting, I began to realize how grave my situation was. It reminded me that this wasn't just a broken limb, but that I was now a different person than before. Even the times Iwanako would spend with me became torturous. By the end, we were reduced to silence, whereas before, she'd be talking constantly. But that's how Iwanako always was. She may have been a fragile person, but she would talk constantly to try to hide that fact. Not about anything in particular, just talk. I think the three lowest points would have been when my parents told me I wouldn't be going to my old school anymore, my birthday passing while in the hospital, and when Iwanako left for the last time. We leave the school buildings behind us as we begin to follow the main path through the gardens. There have been there may have been an odd bystander in the school buildings, but outside we're practically alone. What was your middle school like? I liked it. I grew up in a really metropolitan area, and the middle school was nearby, so it was pretty crowded. I didn't mind it, probably because I'm used to being in crowds and around lots of other people. I got good grades, and I played soccer with my friends. I spent a fair bit of time hanging out with them after school as well. Did get teased by a bit over my hair though. Your hair? I grimaced a little as I put my hand over my hair to cover it. I'd keep getting tufts and strands that refused to fly nor stay where I wanted them, and my mother wouldn't let me just get my hair shaved. It had a habit of popping out, no matter how much I tried to brush it down. It still does a little. I was worried I'd get that reply. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I give it a mild laugh and wave it off. That's fine, I know it still does. It feels strange to have someone act so interested in my past. If it were anyone else, I think they were just acting polite. But that's something I really don't think Hanako would do. Or if she did, she'd do it so badly that it would be obvious. There are a number of girls in the common room on the ground floor, and Hanako presses herself to my side once more as we pass them. I expect her to break off, but instead she continues to cling on to me as we walk towards the stairway. Something about the way she's holding onto me feels different from the usual. I'm left in deep in thought as we walk up the stairs and down the hallway. It's only when we stop that I look up and realize that I've been following her without question. Why did we come to your dormitory room? She looks straight at the door, without so much as a glance in my direction. Hanako? She moves to answer but stops herself. Instead, she silently breaks from my side, opens her door, and steps inside. I look up and down the hallway, a bit lost as to exactly what I should do. Shrugging, I decide to follow her since I don't have any reason to do otherwise. Hanako stands in the middle of her room and looks straight at me. It's unnerving when she does this, as it's such an unusual action for her. I open my mouth to speak, but she preempts me. Could you close and lock the door? Hanako, her hands reaches for her chest, grabbing her blouse at their heart. I turn and lock the door shut, and then freeze. The atmosphere is beginning to feel quite strange. This feeling is only made more profound when I hear the curtains being pulled behind me. I wonder if this is gonna be the scene. Um, for what I know, all the girls in this game have an H scene, and I wonder this is it. If it is, then I will have to cut it here and rejoin you after the deed is done. But I don't know when it will happen, so yeah, bear with me. It's gonna be night soon. We're a guy and a girl in a bedroom. She's closing the curtains, and I'm shutting and locking the door. She can't. She can't really have that in mind, kid. Why not? I mean, we've gotten this far in the relationship, so why the hell not? I go up and turn around very, very slowly. Hanako is in the center of the room, but hasn't turned back to face me. You told me about your past, so I'll have to tell you mine. She takes a deep, shuddering breath and pauses for a number of seconds. Her hands move to her ribbon and begin to tug, all but confirming my thoughts. Oh, is she gonna show us her scars? I mean, we did show our scars, so I'm guessing she's gonna show hers. Huh, Hanako? Please, don't say anything. I obediently stay hushed as she slips off her ribbon and continues to unbutton her blouse before working the clip on her bra. The process is slow. Perhaps it just feels slow because of what she's doing. I'm not sure. Frozen to the spot, all I can do is watch as Hanako's hands tremblingly unclips her skirt and lets it drop to the ground. I'm going to. Hmm. I mean, there's no nudity right now, but I'm not gonna take the chance here, so I'm gonna have to cut here. Okay, I think it's a good time to get back, and yeah, that happened. It was only a matter of time, but it did, so yeah, here we go. And then, after a couple seconds, it ends. The Hanako's breathing, and my own rings in my ears, almost painfully, loudly. Hanako holds an arm over her face, her mouth open and gulping in air. As I hold myself over her, suddenly my arms almost give away and my vision distorts, as if someone grabbed it and pulled it sideways. I let myself fall sideways onto the bed beside the panting Hanako, for fear of falling onto her instead. We both lie beside each other, naked and pressed against one another in order to fit on the bed made for a single person. My eyes try to focus on the ceiling, and not too much on success. Pulling a blanket over us to starve off the cold is all I can do. The only sound in the room is that of our breathing. The sweat that I the sweat that I accumulated on my body feels uncomfortable. We're both physically and emotionally exhausted, and a complete mess all over. Oh shit. No, no. No, it's gonna be like the first time with freaking Lily. My vision slowly begins to return to normal as I continue to stare at the ceiling, but my limbs still feel like jelly. I try to concentrate on my chest, find its beat irregular and mildly painful. Not now. This is a dangerous time. I have to think this through and not panic, lest I make my situation any worse. With huge effort, I take control of my erratic breathing, forcing myself to make long, deep breaths. I count half a dozen before I start to feel physically calm again and press my hand to my chest to assure myself the heartbeat's back to normal. I'm okay. Okay, that's good. I turn my face towards Hanako, who is already looking at me. Her expression looks pretty dazed, but underneath that, there's definitely a look of concern. She's realized what happened. I'm okay. Everything's back to normal. I find myself barely able to get the words out between breaths. I don't think sex would tire a normal body out this much, so I have no doubt my condition is at least partially at fault. Why did my body have to do this right now? All thoughts of my heart, though, are pushed aside as I see a wide smile forming on Hanako's face. As always, I smile back without another thought. Hanako's smile has always been infectious in its almost childlike sweetness and earnesty, something that sets her apart from anyone else I know. Right now, we don't need words. Everything we want to communicate to each other, we can share just fine without them. Oh, that's tender. Thank Thankfully the heart thing calmed down, man. That would be a bad. Hmm. My eyes feel heavy as they slowly open, the light from outside making me blink a bit to let them get adjusted. My body feels like a lead, and my head feels just as heavy. Waking up to an unfamiliar ceiling is an uncomfortable feeling. It reminds me of the first time I walked into the dimpled white tiled ceiling of the hospital. It's only after spending a few seconds staring up at it that I realize where I am. This is Hanako's dormitory room. As I feel through, as I feel as I throw my heart stopped again as the events of the last night rush through my head. Blood rushes to my cheeks, and I shut my eyes once more. There's very little point in getting myself worked up this early, though, so I try to push things out of my mind for now. Now, that's very tough to do. I roll my head to the side to see if Hanako's where she was. I drifted off to sleep. All that's there is now an empty space on the bed. and the room beyond. I sluggishly sit up and rub my eyes before pinching the bridge of my nose and looking around the room. The only person here is me. I'm still bereft of my clothes, and after a quick scan of the floor for them, I notice that they are neatly folded in a corner of the room. Try as I might, I can't see Hanako's anywhere. The foil packet for the condom has been removed too, presumably put into the bin. With a great yawn, I get myself out of bed and quickly look for some underwear. I grimaced a little at the prospect of putting my boxers back on after yesterday's efforts did a job on them, but I didn't have much of a choice. Taking advantage of the fact that I had some time without anyone around, I get myself dressed for the coming school days in short order. And then, I'm alone. Without anything more to busy myself with, my mind becomes focused on the fact that I'm staying in another person's bedroom after we spent the night together, but there's not a single sign of her around. My gut proves to be more helpful than my brain at working out this riddle. With a loud growl, it reminds me that she may well be just getting breakfast. I would have liked to wake up next to her, but maybe it's a good thing that I have a few moments alone. Hanako's room, as always, is quite bleak in appearance. There are precious few decorations and practically no personal artifacts that are hidden away in cupboards and drawers. She's lived here for 3 years, but the room looks as if it's barely been occupied for a single day. I shouldn't overthink this. She she might just like living this way as some do. Having the ability to put such low stock in physical possessions does have its advantages, but even so, feels a little disconcerting given her past. She says she viewed herself as having had her life on hold while at the orphanage. She certainly lives as she still does, but after what happened last night, it's pretty hard to imagine that she still thinks that way. The sound of the door handle cracks through my thoughts as I turn to face it. Oh, sure enough, Hanako comes through and shuts the door behind her. She has what seem to be two microwaved instant meals in her hands, so this is a little difficult. Good morning, Hanako. Morning. She gives a little bow before making her way to the desk, settling both down both plates. I can see them to be small satay dishes. Their contents steaming with a fork stuck inside the rice of each. We're having rice for breakfast. I give thanks to her for bringing them in, and we each take one to get down to eating. She sits on her desk chair while I sit on the side of the bed. I don't like talking while eating, so the silence between us isn't annoying in of itself. It's the fact that it only exists because we don't quite know what to say to each other that's off-putting. Hanako glances towards me every so often as she eats. I only notice her doing so because I'm just doing the same thing. We're eating together as if we were a couple. We even had sex last night. First for both of us. Something feels wrong, though. Maybe that's why we can't say even a word to each other as we finish our plates and leave them in the sink. Maybe that's why we leave Hanako's room without holding hands or making small talk. Maybe that's why it feels that we were further apart than we've ever been before. We enter the classroom together, neither of us much as glancing at each other. Just after we do so, I realize this may have been a mistake. She suddenly lifts her eyebrow at the sight, her suspicions raised. We reach the center aisle between the classroom's desks and look into each other. I'm not quite sure what I should say. Does she want me to address her as a girlfriend? I didn't think a relationship was. Oh, that's why this feels so strange. See you. Okay. I awkwardly hold up a hand as we part and take our seats at our respective desks. I can't even look back to her out of embarrassment. I feel like a gulf between Hanako and me is because of me. She suddenly begins to make her way towards me, but then Muto enters the room. Yep, back up. I'm thankful for his arrival, being so well timed, joins Sejoni and her questioning away to wait for another time. I wouldn't have been able to answer her anyway. I like Hanako, but I never told her what my feelings are for her. Hanako never said that she saw me as anything beyond a friend either. Yet, despite that, we slept together. The bell to signal the beginning of lunch rings out. Moto is taken a little off guard, his chemistry lecture being cut off mid-sentence, much to his chagrin. Chagrin. Was it chagrin? I don't. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. For the entirety of the class, this rambling has passed through one ear and out the other, as my mind mulls over the question of Hanako. I can't get her out of my mind, and by now I managed to wind myself up about it. I realized that she's never said yes to what we did, and she didn't say no either. But would would she have been able to? She's extremely submissive at the best of times, and no doubt about it, it took her a gargantuan effort to show me her scarring. I decided to try and at least make conversation with her. That would be better than the monosyllabic communication that's been the most we've managed between each other so far today. I walk to her desk intending to chat, but she awkwardly blushes and looks down even before I've come up to her. I take a breath to speak, but find myself lost for words. What in the world should I say to her? Hearing approaching footsteps, I turn to see Shizune and Misha already making their way towards us, no doubt with the intent to start asking troublesome things. A couple of other classmates are looking at us and gossiping between themselves as they throw sidelong glances. They must have also noticed Hanako and me coming in together earlier. I open my mouth to reassure Hanako, but she preempts me. I, 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 I gotta go do something. She, she gets out of her chair and dashes for the door. A couple of the books and pens that were on her desk are sent falling to the floor in a rush. Not many people seem to care about this event. A few look around to see what is all the fuss is about, but go back to what they were previously doing soon after. I'm left despairingly looking at the door that Hanako disappeared out of. The idea of running her after her passes through my mind, but I'm fairly sure that Hanako can run faster than I can. And besides, what would I say to her once I caught up anyway? Eventually, I simply crouched down and began picking up items that had fallen to the ground from her desk. I feel low in every way, reduced to this as students pass by me on their way out of the classroom. I feel a tap on my shoulder and look up to see Shizune and Misha looking at me. Curiosity about the situation written on their faces, mixed with a slightly apologetic look at the idea that they were partially responsible for what just happened. He-chan, if we can help at all. I just shake my head. This isn't the matter for them, and from Shizune's expression and the tone of Misha's voice, I think they know the same thing. Shizune acknowledged my response and gives a solemn bow before making her way out of the room. Misha soon follows her out, obediently following her role as Shizune's shadow. I pick myself up, books and pens in hand, and place them inside Hanako's desk. With the classroom now empty, I end up just leaning against her desk and thinking to myself in silence. It feels like there's a complete emotional disconnect between Hanako and me. We haven't known each other for all that long, and despite wanting to start going out with her, I really don't know that much about how Hanako views things. I've been studying as hard as I can for exams, but I still don't feel like I have any real sense of direction behind it. I try to be a friend to Hanako, even if I couldn't tell her my feelings, and all we've done is drive each other apart. I couldn't even write a letter back to the one girl who ever loved me, Hanako. What should I do? What can I do? I simply don't know the answer to either of those questions. I do know that nobody else can help me with them. Just going back to the way things were would be enough to make me happy, but I know that it can never happen. Something changed between us last night. Maybe it changed beforehand, and it just came to a head then. I know that there's a wall that Hanako has between me and her. I've been hitting that wall every time I try to interact with her on any level. But now I'm beginning to think that I have my own wall between us just as much as she does. She had to practically drag my past out of me, and mine was much less traumatic than hers. I want to say it's because I haven't been had a long to adjust since my heart attack, but I know full well that it would be just an excuse. The one time that I can recall when it really felt like she was opening up to me on her own accord, when we were playing billiards in the city. I was the one who stopped her from going further. I want to know Hanako better. I want to save her friendship, if not begin a real relationship with her. My mind begins to tick as I sit against her desk, thinking to myself in an empty classroom that we've spent so much time in together. I have to talk to Hanako. I pace around in the park, feelings of anxiety rolling over me. Every so often I reach into my pocket to take out my phone, but each and every time I hesitate and end up slipping it back in. If this were any normal situation, I wouldn't be cutting classes. Unfortunately, it isn't, and I still find myself in the town below the school in the 2 in the afternoon. Ever since I met Hanako, I've been the one to initiate everything between us. The one that started conversations, went to her whenever she has, and suggested what we should do. Today, this once, I don't want to be the only one doing that. My hand dives into my pocket once more. This time, I quickly navigate to the texting menu before I have a chance to change my mind again. Hanako, if you want to talk, I'll be in the park in the town for a while. Finding the last measure of doubt, I thumbed in my message to Hanako and pressed the button to send it. And now, I wait. My part in this has been fulfilled. What needs to happen now is for Hanako to make the decision. It would be meaningless for me to drag her here. She needs to decide for herself whether she wants to meet me. The apple juice from the vending machine tastes awfully bitter as I swirl it down. My grip on the can has caused it to dent slightly in the middle. I shouldn't be this tense, but it's probably inevitable. Hanako is dear to me. What happened in the last couple of days has put a lot of pressure on both of us. The idea of losing all the progress we've made in coming closer to one another, and losing our friendship as a whole is deeply unsettling. But even then, I still don't really know how close we are. We may have had sex, but before that, all I knew this all I knew us is to be was friends. Maybe we're even more than that. But if so, I've never realized it. Maybe that's why I feel so uneasy right now, that I don't understand Hanako. But despite all the time that we spend together, the minutes are ticking by. I still have no idea whether she'll show up. Hey, hey Sal. I pause for a moment, almost not believing that I'm hearing the voice that I'm hearing. I drop the can and stand up with a start. Hanako? We look into each other for a few seconds before Hanako becomes too embarrassed to maintain eye contact and begins to nervously fiddle with the roughly cut lock of her hair covering the side of her face. When I want when I want to see Hanako in her room by myself after a breakdown, I had no idea what to say. I was fine then. All either of us wanted was each other's presence. Now though, I feel like I need to talk to her directly. I want to break down this wall between us before it forces us apart for good. Hanako, I what we did last night, how should I interpret that? Hanako stops playing with her hair and looks at me, her head cast slightly downwards. She looks so ashamed, which is probably a good mirror for how I would look now if I weren't so concerned. I thought you might eventually go away if I was the only someone you needed to protect. I thought that if I let you do that, you might see me as someone more than that. My first reaction is disbelief, but I did do it with her after all. I have had plenty of opportunities where I could have stopped things and stepped back and questioned what we were doing. In the end, though, I didn't. A horrible feeling rises in the pit of my stomach. She offered herself to me because of what she thought I wanted, and now it feels like I took advantage of her. She may have been willing, but only under false premises. I've never been good at hiding my emotions from physically showing, and now is no different. Hanako looks down once more. A strange mixture of depression, regret, and sickness written to her face. Thick silence hangs in the air, save for the breeze blowing through the trees around us. I knew you couldn't look at me that way. Hanako's words are said in a little more than a whisper, seemingly directed just as much as herself as to me. In what way? What do you mean? All I ever
All I ever was to you was a useless person, just someone to protect, someone like a child. I wanted to be more to you than that, but after so long, I got used to it.
The tone of her voice is unlike I've ever heard her use before. She sounds disgusted, not at me, but at herself.
After I came out of my room, I saw that you started drifting away. I felt like I was going to lose you because you wanted somebody that you could have that kind of relationship with. You were quiet in school than before, and you were getting on so well with Yuko, I thought that I might lose you.
She thought I was bored of her because I wanted a romantic relationship? But we're friends, right? I wouldn't abandon you like that, even if what you were saying was true.
Friendship was something I thought I'd given up on. I stopped believing in others after what happened after the accident. Before the accident happened, I got on well with people and other children. I didn't have many friends, but I didn't mind because I treasured the ones that I had. Afterwards, though, I was called names by the others and teased a lot. It hurt, really deeply. The teachers tried to help, but they couldn't do much, and even many of them recoiled just at the sight of me. Among those calling me names and teasing me were the ones that I thought they were my closest friends. From then on, I believed that it didn't matter if nobody else acknowledged me. All of my existence ever did was make people troubled. After all, it was easier if I just didn't exist. But after meeting Lily, and then you, I tried, but I couldn't make myself think that way again.
All that time, she didn't trust me? She thought, just like everyone else in her life, that she was worthless? Someone to throw away once I got bored of being with her? That hurts. That's the one kind of person I never, ever wanted to be seen as, because I know better than most just how horrible it is to feels to be thrown away by those who I thought liked me. She's cracking from the memories she's bringing up. I feel useless, completely unable to console her. In a strange way, though, I am almost thankful that she's allowing me to know this. The wall between us is going away, even if it hurts so badly to bring it down. Hanako, if you just told me.
Was I wrong?
Of course, she wasn't. Hanako wasn't wrong. It's difficult to force myself to admit this, but I know trying to deny it is pointless. To me and to Lily, she was someone we tried to protect. She had become to me what I become to my friends after my heart attack, a broken person. I liked her, possibly even loved her, but I never acted on that precisely because I thought she was so fragile. I mean, I don't look at you that way now. I got worried I got worried about you after what happened to you in class, and I thought I should try to protect you. When you locked yourself in your room, though, I got afraid. I thought you were rejecting me, and it forced me to think about a lot of different things.
I wasn't rejecting you.
She just blurts it out with an almost scared tone to her voice, taking me off guard. She quickly becomes embarrassed by her outburst before clenching her fist and working through what she wants to say in her mind.
I wouldn't ever do that. Not to you. Even though I was scared. Even though I tried to push you away, you still tried to get closer to me. I locked myself away because I was just a burden to you, to Lily, to everyone. Every birthday was the same. Everyone doing their best to pretend that I mattered. Everyone pretending everything was alright. For that one day of the year, I didn't want to exist, but they wouldn't let me. Even after meeting Lily, everything was the same. I was as useless as I'd always been, unable to do anything for her or for myself. I don't want to be the same way to you.
Lily and I were completely wrong. For what she said, everything we did for her,
would have only made her feel worse. Even what little I thought I had right about her was a complete misjudgment. Hmm. After you locked yourself in your room, I decided to try to work out the past as well and sort out my future. I didn't know how to deal with the things I'd lost by coming to Yamaku, so I was trying to sort them out myself. I thought it would help us become better friends if I did that. Silence hangs in the air again. I try to keep looking at her, but I can't. I feel really low, and though I want to apologize, I don't know how I possibly could. I could I hear her take a deep breath, and only look back to her after hearing her drop to the ground. The sound of her crying breaks my heart. I know I'm responsible for this, and I know that I can't do anything to help her. If Hanako feels ashamed, then I feel all the more so. I rush to her as tears continue to roll down her cheeks, unabated, wrapping my arms around her. I don't care how I must look anymore. I just want to be close to her right now. I'm sorry, Hisao. I messed up everything. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm the one that should be sorry. I was meddling around behind your back, and I never told you anything. I can feel the grip tightening around on Hanako as my vision blurs. I can't be bothered trying to hold back. Now, I have to force my words out as a lump begins to stick in my throat. To tell you the truth, Hanako, I was scared. For the first time since my heart attack, I was really scared. Isao, I've lost so much when I came to Yamaku. I was depending on you more than I ever thought I did. Even now, I still have to hold it inside me. After losing my entire life and everyone I've known, the thought of losing you as well. But I'm just a useless. You're my friend, Hanako. You're. No, you're more than that. I love you, Hanako. I love you so much that the thought of losing you frightened me so much. This is bad. I'm really letting all of this out. Can't bring myself to look at her face right now. I'm sorry, Sal. I can't help feeling a bit happy. For so long, that's what I've wanted to hear. The last of the floodgates breaks. The sound of her crying premeditating the air as her body jerks against mine. We hold each other tightly connected more closely than ever than our shared grief and our shared happiness. I don't know how things are going to be like after this. Right now, though, I don't care. There's no other person in the world that either of us could possibly share these memories and emotions with. Nobody. After dropping the dirty can into the bin next to the bench, I take a seat beside Hanako. She puts away at the handkerchief I gave her to clean herself up, which hasn't helped much. Then again, I doubt I look much more presentable. Even now, I feel emptied and a bit embarrassed about letting my emotions out in the public like that. It's not a bad sensation, though. I think Hanako feels the same way too. Have you calmed down a bit? Yes, thank you. For a while, we just sit and take our time before talking again to one another. We both need a little time to collect ourselves. The weather is nice at this time of year. Yeah, it is. I close my eyes for a moment, relishing the feeling of the sun's heat and the cool breeze against my face. The weather really is nice today. Really, really nice. You know, I don't really want to go back to classes right now, do you? She shakes her head as she finishes wiping her eyes with her cuff. The small smile she gives is nice, and it's a reminder of how earnest it can be. Smiling for other people might be a completely normal everyday thing. For Aniko, though, she smiles so rarely and so sincerely that each and every time she does it, I feel a sense of relief and happiness. I'm sorry for everything. It's okay. I think we both have a bit to be sorry for. I know that I'm too shy. I know you don't want me to be, but I don't think I can. You can change, Hanako. I know that because even at the time I've known you, you've already changed. To be honest, just being able to sit here and talk to you like this means that you've changed a lot since we first met. But I can't be like that for anyone else. I don't have any plans for after school ends either. Hanako's confidence begins to slide down again. I think that now I can finally talk to her as an equal. I can do it because I know that we're just the same in so many ways. Just give yourself time, and I think you'll be able to achieve what you want. No, I'm sure that you will be able to do it. I can see that you've been trying, and I have faith in you. And you can depend on me if you feel like you need someone to support you, you know. But I can't ask that of you. You can, because that's exactly what I'm asking of you. I'm going through the same thing, you know. It's called love. Hanako smiles before I get off the bench and to dust myself off. She does in the same she does the same in short measure. I'm kinda hungry. Wanna grab something to eat? She nods vigorously. The way she's smiling, the way she's acting, even just the general air she gives off, I feel as if this is the first time I've seen her genuinely happy. We both make our way down to the street, walking beside each other. Hisao, yeah, I think I don't really understand you. I don't think I understand you either. I believe that's fine though. There's not a single hint of despair in our voices. And understanding each other is only natural. The walls we set up between ourselves couldn't possibly be broken down in a single day. Well, that's fine. As long as we take it day by day and try to understand one another, I think everything will be okay. As we walk down the street, though, Hanako's eyes flick to my face and back to the street repeatedly. Hmm, something on your mind? You look restless. She slows before stopping completely. When I turn to meet her, she takes a long, deep breath, looking at my face intently. This expression, I saw it once before on her face. Just once, when I accidentally surprised her in her room. I, I think, I think I have something I need to give you. What is it? You don't need to be evasive about it. I wanted to give you this for a long, long time, but now that I need to, it's too embarrassing. Don't worry, I'll accept it, whatever it is. I think I know what it is. She gives a sweet, bashful smile before taking my shoulder in her hand. Then, please accept my first gift to you, Isao. Hanako? Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, that's really cute right there. That's it. Well, that is the good ending for Hanako. Wow, that was uh that was a pretty good story for Hanako. I like that route. That route was pretty good. I mean, this game is pretty good. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, I definitely recommend it for anybody who's not trying this. You know, please give this game a try. You won't be disappointed. So I did mention that there are three endings. There's a bad ending, which I showed you first, and then there was a neutral and there was a good ending. I am going to skip the neutral ending and just move on to the next thing. Also, well, I've been kind of thinking also, you know what? No, never mind. Let us continue on. And yeah, that was the good ending for Hanako's route, as I mentioned. And that is two girls down, and there are more to go through. I believe there are three girls left. I think there are three or four, but I'm not sure. But anyways, we'll check out. This is the last Katawa Shoujo for 2019, and next one will be in the following year, in 2020. Damn, we're already in the new year. But anyways, I will leave you with that. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.